Okay, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. That super frustrating feeling when you have these huge, amazing dreams, but you just never seem to actually start them.
Does this sound familiar? You know, that little voice in your head that promises one day, someday, you're going to be this incredible, accomplished person. It's a great thought, right? But it also sets up a really strange problem.
So maybe for you, that big someday dream is finally writing that novel you've had rolling around in your head for years. Or hey, maybe it's about being your own boss, launching that business and building something that's all yours from scratch. Or maybe it's that classic goal to finally, truly get into the best shape of your life. These are all amazing goals. But then the moment arrives to actually do something about it and, well, crickets. Nothing happens. And as the days turn into weeks and the weeks turn into months, that dream just sits there. And you start asking yourself this really awful question. You start to think, what is wrong with me? And this is the conclusion pretty much all of us jump to. We blame ourselves. We figure it's just a lack of willpower, that we're just lazy. But what if that isn't the real story at all? The truth is, that roadblock you keep hitting isn't some deep character flaw. It's actually your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. See, you're not lazy. You're fighting millions of years of evolution. Think about it. Your brain's main job, the thing that's kept us alive for millennia, is super simple. Conserve energy and avoid pain or danger. And unfortunately, your big, exciting dreams, well, they set off all kinds of ancient alarm bells. So this is the battle going on inside your head. You see this amazing opportunity for growth and success. But your ancient subconscious brain, it sees something totally different. It sees a massive amount of effort, a ton of scary uncertainty, and a very, very real chance of failure. And its job is to slam on the brakes and get you to do something easy and safe instead, like, scrolling on your phone. But here is the really good news. You can actually work with this programming instead of fighting against it. So let's break down 3 dead simple ways to outsmart that ancient survival instinct and finally get started. First things first, you gotta shrink the mountain. When your brain hears write a book, it completely freaks out. The goal is way too big, way too intimidating. So you give it something so small it can't say no. Your goal isn't to write a book. Your goal is to write one single sentence today. That's it. And this works for absolutely anything. The mountain is get in shape. The first step? Do 1 push-up. I know, it sounds almost laughably small, right? But that's the whole secret. Your brain won't fight an action that tiny. And the magic is, once you start, momentum starts to build. Okay, strategy number 2 is a big one. Stop waiting for motivation to strike. Let's be honest, motivation is totally unreliable. It's a fickle friend. Some days you have it, most days you don't, and if you only work when you feel like it, well, you're not going to get very far. So what's the alternative? Routines. You build systems that make starting automatic, so you don't even have to think about it. You use these little environmental cues to trick yourself. Put your gym clothes right next to your bed. Leave that book you want to read on your pillow. You're just making the easiest, most obvious path lead directly to your goal. And that leads us to our third and maybe the most powerful trick of all, the 2-minute rule. Here's the deal. The hardest part of anything isn't doing the work, it's starting the work. So you just make a deal with your brain. You only have to do it for 2 minutes. So why does this work so well? It all comes down to a psychological idea called the activation energy effect. Basically, it's like trying to push a giant, heavy boulder. That first push is the hardest part, right? But once it's rolling, it takes way less effort to keep it going. Those first 2 minutes, that's you giving the boulder that first crucial shove. And honestly, this is the real difference between people who dream and people who do. It's not about having more talent or being luckier. It's just a simple shift in how you think. Dreamers wait for the perfect moment. Doers, they just start. They start before they feel ready, using these little tricks to get that boulder rolling. So let's try a new way of looking at this. Stop thinking of your dream as this giant mountain you have to conquer. Instead, I want you to start thinking of it like a fire you need to build. Right now, that dream might just be a tiny little spark. It's easy to ignore, easy for it to go out, but every tiny action you take, every single sentence, every single push-up, that's you adding a little piece of kindling.
And that spark catches. It becomes a flame. And you just keep feeding it. And soon that flame grows into a roaring fire.
But here's the key. The fire doesn't grow on its own. It absolutely needs you to keep feeding it, day after day, with those tiny, seemingly meaningless little actions. That's how they build into something massive.
Which brings us right here, to this moment. We've talked about why this happens and how to fix it. But now it's about when. And the when is right now.
So I want you to seriously ask yourself this question. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. What is the absolute tiniest, least scary 2-minute action you could take right now that would move you even 1 inch closer to that dream? Always, always remember this. You don't need to change your entire life in one day. You don't need some huge burst of motivation. You just need to start. And the secret is to start so small that your brain doesn't even notice. Every single huge success story you've ever heard of began just like this.
That future version of you that you dream about, they're not waiting for you to make some giant leap of faith. They're just waiting for you to take that first, tiny, almost insignificant step and to take it today.